Hello, friends. Welcome to another Stamp With Me Tuesday. Tonight, we are doing a super easy card making technique that I am absolutely in love with. I've had so much fun playing with this. I'm calling it ink blending lift. I don't know if that's the right name for it. A lot of times I don't know the names for things and I just make them up. So I'm calling it ink blending lift. That's what I came up with. If you are here and joining me live like Janice is, hello, Janice. Leave me a comment. Let me know that you're watching. Let me know how you feel about ink blending. Do you like it? Is it a little scary? Is it too messy? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Same thing if you are watching the replay. I love that you come later to watch the replay. So I want to know that you were here as well. And I want to know your thoughts on ink blending, because that's what we have to start with tonight. Is we have to start with some ink blending. All right. If this is your first time here, I am Heidi with Onigo Stamping. I'm going to help you reconnect with your inner artist by using stamps, ink, and paper to make beautiful handmade cards and gifts just like this one. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Hello, Jill and Lisa and Carol. I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm going to go ahead and make my workspace look just a little bit bigger. Let me see. No, let's go with this one. Let's do the circle. I like it. Hello, Patricia. All right. I have some blending brushes. I have a lot of blending brushes, so I have one for each color I'm going to use tonight. I pulled out 4 colors. Now, I pulled colors that are similar to each other, right? So I have yellow, orange, pink, and purple. Now, you can use colors that are opposite on the color spectrum, but you do have to know that where they mix together, you might get another color or it might get a little muddy. So that's why I like to go with ones that are analogous in colors. So that's what I have. I'm going to set those aside for just a minute. Let's talk about the first step we have to do, because the first step we're doing is that we are going to make our own stencil. And this is kind of the tricky part, or the part that you never know is what is going to work and what is not going to work until you actually do it. And that is picking out your dies. All right. Because we're going to make a stencil out of it. That means we want to use the negative space that is left over. So if you look at certain things, and I don't have a good example right here, but sometimes you have leaves, right? And even though they're very detailed, there's sections in the middle that are going to get completely cut out, because when you cut it, like the die cut shape has sections in the center of it that are completely cut out. And because those aren't cutting any part of the outside, they are loose. They're free to do whatever they want. So they're not going to be part of your stencil. So that's why it's kind of important to look at the outside shape and figure out what you want to use. I'm going to use this one right here from the Delightful Wishes bundle. And I think this is going to be cool. We're going to find out, though, because it's a little bit small. And I tried a small one earlier today. It didn't work. So we'll see how this one works. We'll see. If it doesn't work, we'll try it again. So I do have a lot of different cards using different dies that it works really well on. So I do know it works. I have a piece of window sheet. So this is just plastic sheet, just like that. And I am going to start by cutting my die out of here. And I'm going to go ahead and try to put it in the center, because the more you can cover up the area of the card that you don't want to get water on, because we are going to use some water, the better this technique works. The more you can keep the water to the cutout spaces, the better it is. So I'm going to pull out my cutting plate and we'll get this ready. Hello, Kathy and Lisa. You like those colors? And Anna and Jean. I'm so glad you guys are all here. All right, this one is kind of like, this looks like wonky like this, but I think I want to try to keep it. I'm looking at these lines right here and trying to go like straight. Now that I can really see my window sheet. And it doesn't matter because once we cut it out, we can change it too. So, all right, I'm going to put that down. I am going to just tack this down. Try to keep it where it is in the center there. And then I'm going to cut this out. Now, when you are cutting the window sheet, let's see if I can pull in my cut and emboss machine. Normally, I tell you, don't go back and forth on your cut and emboss machine. Usually you don't need it, right? It's going to make a lot of crackling noises like that, if you can hear that. But with this window sheet, I do find that it's a little bit thicker, it takes a little bit more to cut. So I do roll it through at least 3 times, okay, to hopefully get a good cut out of the window sheet. And my handle is getting a little loose. Check this out. So my handle gets loose. Can I get this in the screen? Probably not. No. My handle gets loose. All right. Anyway, you can't see it. My handle gets loose. And I have a little Allen wrench. And sometimes this can affect your cutting too. And I just come in here and tighten it. I do this regularly. So if your die cutting machine is not giving you a good cut, you might want to check and see if the handle is a little bit loose, because that will sometimes affect it. Hopefully this went through, because I just realized that was really loose. All right. So I'm going to pull this off. Pull off my die. The tape's still on there. I'm not even going to worry about that because it's not going to matter. All right. I'm holding this up because I'm trying to see if all of these little plastic pieces are cut out. This has lots of little bits. And so I want to make sure they're gone. And it's a little bit hard to see. I don't even know. Can you see? Probably can't even see what I'm doing. Oh, can you see that? Not really. Oh, there we go. Just a little bit. So it has all those tiny holes in it. That is what we're going to use for our stencil. I'm going to set that aside and we're going to do our ink blending. All right. So I have a piece of basic white. My basic white, this is just a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And I will probably cut this down just a little bit when I get done, because I don't know. I always feel like when I ink blend or I do something weird on the background, I always end up liking to cut it down a little bit. So I have, starting with some Daffodil Delight. When I do ink blending, I just take my brush, I rub it in there, stamp off on my glass mat. I am using my glass mat today, so I can pick up the extra color afterwards. So I'm just going to stamp some of it off. Although for this technique, we want to lay it on heavy, okay? We want to get it really nice and saturated and really dark color. So I'm just going to do some circular motions. Pick up some of that ink that I tapped off, do a little bit more, and then I'm going to pick up some more ink, tap off again, come in. Now I'm trying to avoid getting any real bloppy areas, but because I want this really thick, it's not going to matter as much. So I'm just going to put that yellow right on there, pick up any extra from my glass mats. All right, so there I have the Daffodil Delight. And then I'm going to do the next color in my rainbow, which is Pumpkin Pie. I love making rainbow colors. All right, I'm going to put it this way because I'm right-handed. It works best for me this way. I'm going to grab an orangish looking blending brush. I have a cat hair on my paper. That is not surprising. We'll start off the side and then come in. And again, I'm just doing this nice and heavy, because I want to really ink this up. That is really light. I want to get it super, super saturated. And I always end up with inky fingers when I do this. And I'm going to stop there. We're going to come back to this because I like to go through with one color, go through each of the colors once, and then I come back and I do it again and just add some more. So now I'm moving on to Melon Mambo, which is a beautiful pink color. So we will grab a pinky brush. Both of these are kind of pinky, but my next two. But since I'm getting them really inky, I'm going to use 2 different ones so I can come back and not have to worry about getting all that extra ink out of my brush. Okay, so we're adding in that Melon Mambo, that beautiful pink color. Pick up some of that extra ink, add that into. So pretty. We're coming along. All right, my last color, my 4th color, is going to be Berry Burst. Now you could do this all with 1 color. You can do it with 2 colors, 3 colors, 4 colors, however many colors you want, really. So come in with the Berry Burst. And this is just like a darker pink. So I'm going to add it down here at the bottom. Add a little more. And we're just going to kind of push it right up into that melon mambo because we want it all to kind of blend together. Okay, so now I'm going to come back and I'm going to do them all again. So I'm going to start at the top with my Daffodil Delight. Bring back in my yellow. And especially I want to go over the bits where I have multiple colors meeting, where I have two colors meeting. I really want to go over those parts and pull those colors together. Okay, so I added in a little more Daffodil Delight, and you can see how it's getting much more saturated as I do this. All right, we're going to come back in with some pumpkin pie. Hit that off. And again, we're going to come over where the melon mambo is and really pull those two colors together. I like to take the lighter color over the darker color as I come back. So there we go. It's looking so pretty. Let's do a little bit more. It's looking beautiful. All right, there we go. Some pumpkin pie. Now we do the melon mambo again. Get our melon mambo in there. I don't even know where my melon mambo is. All right, so just add those in together. Right over, like I said, we're giving it a really heavy color saturation. Okay, so there's my melon mambo, and I'm going to come back in. It reminds you of sherbet, Patricia. Yeah, it does kind of. Reminds me of a sunset. All right, so last time, I'm going to pick this up. Bringing in some of that berry burst again, just at the bottom. So it comes down. There we go. All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop there. There's our pretty ink blended background. So now I'm just using tissues. So I'm just going to clean off my glass mat a little bit with a tissue. If I put water on this, it would come up better. But clean that off just a little bit. So now I'm going to come in with my stencil, and I'm going to lay my stencil in the first area I want to lay it. I'm going to put it up there. So I kind of, it's so hard to see, but it's up here towards the top. And I have a water spritzer, or spritzer, a Stampin Spritzer filled with water. And I'm just going to take this and try to just get it on my stencil area. Then I want to take I'm using a clean ice. You could use a paper towel or something. And I just want to dab that off. See if it left. Oh, I didn't get enough water. Let's try that again. I was trying to go light, and I think I went too light. So there we go. So dab off that water. And then we'll lift it up, and you can see it is going to leave just a little bit, like it lightens that area. That's why I call it a lift, because it's lightening that area. I'm going to come in, I'm just going to wipe off my stencil a little bit, and I want to come down here. Maybe we'll do it over here just a little bit. And I'm going to spritz this again, and then dab it off. Maybe it will show up better down here. So just dab that off. Ooh, there we go. Can you see that? I can get it in the light in a way. My light is not being very helpful tonight. All right. So I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing it over and over again until I get a really, whatever pattern I want on here. I love this Delightful Wishes bundle. This is part of a suite, so it is part of the suite sale. It has a gorgeous pattern paper that goes with it too. The sweet sale, you can buy one sweet or sweet product and get a second one 50% off. So you can buy the whole suite and get a second suite, or if you just want the bundle, don't buy the bundle as a bundle, buy it as a stamp set and dies separately, and then one of those will be half off. Whichever the least expensive item is the one that's half off. That sale ends on Monday, though, so don't miss it. It's a really good one. All right, we're getting there. I know that's not like showing it up. There we go. We're just going to keep going. And I'm moving this all around, putting it in different areas. And I'm making a random background. Like I said, I have a bunch of samples to show you. And different things worked differently. So there we go. Now, if the water starts to run underneath the stencil, it does kind of get blotchy. So that's why I'm trying to clean off my stencil in between to keep it from getting too blotchy. I tried to do this with like a brush. I thought, well, maybe I could just brush on the ink. Let me show you what it did. So if you look up in that corner, that's what it did. When I went back to a spritzer, I got better image like this. But that one, and I don't remember what this is from. Is this from the new, I don't know, the new Charming Day, maybe. It's not the one I'm using right now. But the brush did not work. That's what I found out. I don't know if a sponge would have worked and just sponged down the water, but it was just letting too much water in under the stencil. All right. So I'm almost done with what I'm going to do here. Give that a good spray. Keep blotting. There's another one. I want to do some more up here. And I don't even know how I'm going to finish this part off. I don't know. I haven't decided. I can figure that out. Really didn't know what I was doing tonight. But we're getting a really cool effect. I'm going to do just a little bit. Go. Maybe we'll come in here and do just a little bit on the bottom. Ooh, that was really wet. That was really, really wet. Hello, Tracy. You guys like this? Super fun. I tell you, you got to try it yourself so you can really, really see it and see what it looks like. Because it's so fun to play with. And it's definitely, you're not going to get a perfect look, right? This is not about perfection. This is about playing and having fun. So there we go. Oh, you can see it now. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Let's add some more. Let's add some more stuff to this background. I feel like it needs a little more stuff. I'm going to zap this with my heat tool just a little bit to dry it up, maybe. Just to get it a little bit drier because it's a little bit damp. Let's see. I don't know that I want images from the stamp set. I like that die, but I got some different images. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I haven't even tried this yet. Let's try this one. I might have to mount it. This is the stripes and dots. And, oh, I am going to have to mount it. It's really cool because it like all fits together like a big background stamp. But they come apart in pieces too. So cool. All right, I'm going to pull this out. Let's see. I want maybe some stripes on here. I don't know. Maybe some dots. Dots or stripes. I don't know. Let's see. I'm not going to put the sticker on tonight. I'm just going to put these on a block. I'm going to start with the dots. We're going to see what the dots look like. I think I'm going to do the dots. Let's try I'm like really nervous to go too dark. I'm going to try some pumpkin pie for my dots. This is kind of fun. I don't know. Maybe I'm messing it up. I'm not sure. I never know. I never know what I'm doing. All right. So there's some dots on there. We're just going to make a really fun collagey background. Let's wipe this off. Let's try some stripes. I'm going to try some of the stripes. And I'm gonna take a deep breath and I'm gonna try them with Berry Burst. You didn't realize it? Isn't it cool? I really need to play with it more. Yeah, you can either use them together or take them apart. So much fun. All right. I'm just digging. I have a big basket of clear blocks, and I'm just trying to find the right clear block. I'm going to use this one. All right. Let's breathe. We're going to try some Berry Burst. I don't know what this is going to look like. It could really mess it up. Really, really could. Maybe. This is definitely a busy, busy background. If busy isn't your thing, you might be like, you went too far. I don't know. I'm going to stop there. I wish, I feel like it needs some text. I really want to put like some text on here. I'm going to think, do I have kind of a, oh yeah, elements of text. Let's put this one on. Let's put this one on. I'm going to do this in Melon Mambo. Let's try it in Melon Mambo. Let's see what happens. I don't know. And then I have to figure out how I'm finishing this card. Clean off the back. All right. I really should get out some scratch paper, but whatever. Whatever. We're just doing it. All right. So this is the elements of text. Ooh. Well, that's kind of fun. Just getting the edges just a little bit. They aren't bare. There we go. All right. What do we think? Over the top? I don't know. Have a fun. Just play with it. Again, there is no right or wrong. It is just playing. It is all just playing. All right. Let's finish this card up. I'm going to trim the edges down a little bit. Just to kind of, I don't know, even things up a little bit. I'm trying to clean off my glass mat so I don't make bigger mess. All right, let's see. Let's come up with some sort of a sentiment to put on here. Let me see. Let's pick something good. I don't know. What do I want to do? I didn't think ahead this far. Let's grab out. You know what? I'm using this not 29 anymore. I've been using this a ton. I feel like I never make enough birthday cards. So this one is really great. Maybe it's because I am old or almost old. But I think it's really funny. So it's got funny things like so many candles. I don't know about you, but I feel like you're not 29 anymore. It's all fun and games until your metabolism slows down, right? Older, but still cool, or older, but not wiser. Happy birthday. Treat yourself because I didn't get you anything. Here's to another year of questionable decisions. Let's get this party started so I can be home by 9. I think it's all hilarious. Yeah, all right. I think it's funny. I don't know if anyone else thinks it's funny. I think it's hilarious. Let's see. I'm going to find, what do I want to use? Let's see. Let's have this problem. Like, what do I want to use? What do I want to use? How about a 2-inch? This fit on a 2-inch? So I'm going to pull out my 2-inch circle. I'm going to pull out the one that says, I don't know about you, but I don't think you're 29 anymore. Will this fit? Oh, this will fit great. All right. So I know it's going to fit on there because I tried it on the top. That's how I try out what size will fit my stamps. And I'm just going to grab a piece of white. I'm going to punch this out of white, just like that. And we're going to stamp it with some Berry Burst. That's my darkest color. So we're going to go with Berry Burst. So there's a fun sentiment. There we go. They're all you, Lisa. Right? Yeah, I'm like, I relate way too much to the stamp set. All right. There we go. I'm going to punch some pieces here. I am going to punch out of, I'm going to grab, that was a 2-inch punch. So I'm going to grab my 2 3/8 inch punch. I'm going to punch this out of 2 3/8 inch and layer it up. Maybe we'll do a little offset layer. Ooh, that's cute. I like it. I like it. That's what we're doing. All right. I'm going to trim this down just a little bit. I think we're going to take off a little bit of the top. So I'm going to trim this down to 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. All right. Sometimes when you're doing like collage stuff, trimming off the edges makes it work a little bit better because sometimes you just don't get to the edges quite right. And so, yeah. All right, I have a piece of, oh, I did this wrong. I want this actually to be 3 3/4 by 5. I was thinking what the layer was. So we're gonna make this 3 3/4 by 5. There we go. And I'm going to adhere this on a piece of Berry Burst that is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. I use my green glue. Lisa, you're really old, but your head doesn't know it yet. Yeah, exactly. All right. This is going down with a piece of with a little bit of green glue. I want to find some ribbon. I don't know what ribbon I have that's going to look good. Let's see. We'll grab, this is Timid Tiger. Oh, that'll work. We're going to grab the Timid Tiger. I don't have a nice pink one that's going to look right. I should have used Petunia Pop, so I can use my Petunia Pop ribbon. Also, I have no idea where my ribbon cutting scissors are. They have definitely taken a holiday today. Let's just try my regular. Snip. That mostly worked. Ah! Did not work. It is totally trying to fray. All right. So I just cut a piece of Timid Tiger. Your body does, right? I just cut a piece of Timid Tiger. I'm going to wrap this around. I'm going to just tape this on the back because tape is wonderful. And then we'll adhere my sentiment to the front. I'm going to add my Berry Burst circle with some green glue. Now, don't go anywhere because I have like 4 other samples to show you. And they're all really fun. All right, so I'm going to put the Berry Burst on there. And then I'm going to add my sentiment with some dimensions. We'll pop some dimensionals on there. And I'm just going to offset this just a little bit just to kind of make it fun. That's cool. All right. This is going to go on a card base. that is Melon Mamba, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. I'm going to give it a good squish with my bone folder. Swoosh. And we'll just adhere this to the front. And then I'm going to add some gems to it. I don't know what gems, but we're going to add some gems to it. So there we go. So pretty. Maybe some orange gems. Maybe we'll just do Timid Tiger gems. Even though it's not Timid Tiger, that'll match the ribbon, and it's all orange. So here are, these are the in color pearls. And my take your pick tool. We'll grab a big one. Put that there. Grab a little one. Put it there. And then the medium one will stick up here. So fun. All right. Dark purpley ones maybe would have been better, but we're just going to go with that. So you guys can tell me what you think. Super quick and finish off that card. There we go. Such a fun way to do a background and get that first layer that you're taking off the ink. So there's that one. All right. This is the one I started with, and this is with the Sunshine Vibes bundle. I did the ink blending with, I think, Daffodil Delight, Peach Pie, Strawberry Slush, and Summer Splash. And I cut out that rainbow. So there's one that makes a rainbow, and I cut that out, and that's what I did. I turned it different directions. So it kind of made a fun background. Doesn't really read rainbow as much. It kind of does, but it kind of just reads fun background. So I thought that was really cool. We're using the Sunshine Vibes for the July online card class. So, all right. Let me see. Next up, this is so far my favorite one. This I used the Around We Go bundle, and I did the background in, let me see, Daffodil Delight, maybe Peach Pie, Shy Shamrock, no, Peach Pie, Coastal Cabana, and Granny Apple Green. So, isn't that fun? I love the way that looks. And I cut multiple pieces. There was 3 different like bits that I cut out of the stencil, and then I moved it around and I added additional stamping, and it's just so much fun. So much fun. All right. This one I did with the Beautiful Motifs bundle, and you can just kind of see in the background. Can you see that? It's kind of a leafy. What I did with this one, instead of using the full sheet of window sheet, like I did here, right? Like I cut the whole window sheet and then I used the full sheet. For this one, I actually cut out that leaf and I laid the leaf down and then I spritzed around it. And that's why you can't really see, because where it was spritzed, it kind of like, it mushes one into the other. But I love the way it just kind of gives this almost ripply background back there. So, and then can you see the bits of silver? That is our new rub-ons. So much fun. All right, so there's that one. And then I wanted to try it. So I liked the way that leaf worked, but I wanted to see, like, could I adhere it better to the piece of paper and get a better image? So I actually used masking paper. It didn't work very well because this is the new Charming Day suite that's coming next week, July 1st. But what happened was that the masking paper did not stick well to the ink blended background. Like it was a little bit too wet still. But the problem was, so then I zapped it with my heat tool to try to dry it. And then it stuck better, which is what was happening down here. But then because the ink was a lot drier, it didn't lift as well. So the masking paper just did not work as well as the window sheet. So that's why we ended up with that. Look at that. 5 different cards, all like so much fun. So pretty. I'm excited for you guys to go out and try this. Like, give it a try. Don't be scared. Jump in and see what happens. You just got to play with it, right? It's just a play with it type of thing. yeah, it's, yeah, it's, I've had so much fun with this. It's been a great technique. So I am going to go post over on my Facebook page. If you try out this technique, I hope you'll come over there and add a picture of your card to the comments so we can all see it and see what all type different things people come up with, because no two are going to look the same, because there's nothing you can do with this technique to make it look the same. All right. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I will see you all next week, Tuesday. Next week, Tuesday, we are doing a super simple sketch. You are going to love it. And yeah, have a fabulous weekend. Bye.